Is it going? Okay, now watch this. Now let's start it. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. You all ready to get started there? Big Hoss, Biff? Are you trying
Big.
to become Biff from Back to the Future? Is that your goal? Like with the
No,
haircut? Is that like
looking
your
at
dream person?
no, but looking at my bodily features, I could see it, and that's a compliment to me
You're
because
really
it's
trying to become Biff. Okay, if you go get a haircut, when you go get a haircut or try, do you bring a picture of like a celebrity or something and say, I want to look like this? Have you ever
I
done that?
once when I was a teenager.
Who was it? Who'd you bring?
This is embarrassing as all hell. Actually, do
Okay,
I
well,
I do I have to say? I already said it, didn't I?
no, You just said it was embarrassing. You didn't say who it was. Who did you want to look like?
I,
Just,
I want. There's a actor from the late eight. Now, well, he's still an actor, but he was big in the late '90s when we were impressionable teenagers. His name was Devin Sawa.
okay.
And he was the guy. He played Casper in the movie Casper, and I think
Oh, and
and
you wanted to have a haircut like him, huh?
he had these. I don't even know what you'd call them now. These bangs that like you could mold. You know, you could like curl them in the front.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I don't
see
know.
what you're talking about. Hey,
And
man, if
then,
that's what you wanted.
well, I got them, except they didn't look good on me. So
Okay, look, we all have. I don't know if I've ever really had like. No, I had a butt cut when I was a freshman in high school, and looking back on it, that was pretty terrible. Like
what's a
that was like, oh, that wasn't a good look for me.
what's a butt cut? I'm not even familiar with
You
what
go
that
straight
is.
down the middle. It's like over to the sides.
Oh, so just a part, but a butt cut.
Yeah,
I
but a
didn't. I
butt
didn't.
cut.
That's funny.
I I would make an argument that the bowl cut and the butt cut are the two funniest types of haircuts. Well, a mullet too. Those are the three funniest haircuts.
A bowl cut to me is it's just it's a little dated. It's a little, you know, I'm not entirely sure where that picked up steam and how that became an actual style either.
Oh, it never should have been. Okay, are you ready to get started?
I thought we were already going. I thought we were
Oh,
already.
kind of, a little bit, but not really. Okay. Do you prefer cubed ice or crushed ice?
I mean, I'm not going to make this easy on you. I prefer different kinds of ice for different kinds of things.
Okay, okay, go on.
I mean, like if I'm getting crushed ice, it'll be with like a fountain pop. But if I'm having like a gin and tonic, I like the bigger cubes of ice.
I think that that's actually correct. I think that's exactly the way to do it. I'm not getting crushed ice unless I'm getting a 20-ounce fountain drink or bigger. Otherwise, it's cubed all the way. But I would say I like crushed ice better overall.
Yeah, I almost prefer like the pellets, like the crushed ice with their pellets. You know, where like if you go to like an ice cream shop and you get a slushy, and there's like the big pellets, like those type of ice cubes are just awesome.
Oh, okay. All right. We are not alone. 57% of the audience prefers cubed ice.
Okay.
43% prefers crushed ice. So it's close, man. It's close.
You you are not alone.
It's always good not to be alone. I always want at least one other person to be familiar with whatever circumstance I'm generally going through.
There was a point in my life where I wanted to be the best or have a world record of something. It could have been anything. I just wanted to be the one person with something. But as I get older in life, I don't really care about that anymore.
You just wanted a world record for something? I mean, what like
Yeah.
how far did you go with this? Did you put any initiative into it or was it just a wish that a wish and a hope like someday I'm
I
just going to
mean,
stumble into this?
like I guess I'd have to identify a talent or something that I could do well enough better than anyone else in the world. But I don't think there is something that I can do better than anyone else in the world.
I do wonder if you could like go down far enough. If everybody has a talent where they would potentially be one of the best in the world at it. if you got far enough down, like speed knitting, or the only thing that I would say that I would put myself up against anybody else is dealing with customer service.
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
I think that's one of the reasons my wife married me, because she heard me talk to customer service. I'm great. You ever need customer service? Have me call for you. I'm fantastic at it.
I mean, can you give us a run through? Like, are you intimidating? Are you accommodating? Like, how do you do it? Why are you so good at it?
Because I'm good at painting people into corners and then using logic. For example, like they say, well, that's not our policy. Well, it's not a policy handed down by God himself. You can change it if you want to. You just don't want to. And then you use silence.
Oh,
You just stop talking. Silence is the greatest negotiator I think that you'll ever find. Just don't talk, and people will fill that silence and do what you want.
okay, all right. And how many? Have you ever had a call where you have actually not been successful?
No, I
Wow.
have
Okay.
never spoken to customer service and not gotten what I wanted.
Wow. You may be the only person that I know of that has an immaculate record when it comes to customer service.
I'm
I
batting
mean,
100 or 1,000 or whatever it is.
you've never hung up. You've never gotten angry and have
Nope,
hung up. Nothing.
nope,
Man.
no. I come prepared. I come with facts. I come with the policy. I got into it the other day with a bike company. They didn't want to refund the bike. And I said, listen, I understand that you've done these tests before, but the frame bent on this one. Did you test this specific bike? So you didn't test this specific bike. So you don't actually know if this bike is faulty or not. And they refunded all the money, and I kept the bike.
See that I think that's where a lot of people get. When they get to that level, they just get angry and aggressive. Like I mean, that's how I would get sometimes. Is you know, the person you're talking to doesn't really know usually the product, but I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you keep a level head and you get what you want.
I would honestly argue it's probably my one true talent. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. You ready for
Listen.
shout outs?
Yeah. Let's get some shout outs here. As I brought up Devin Sawa. Anyways. All right.
I've never even
RJ.
heard of that actor before. Never even heard of him.
For those of you who might be wondering who that still is, he was the main guy out of the Final Destination series as well. The main actor in most of those. Also in Idle Hands back in the day. But anyways,
Wow,
all right.
you had a full man crush then. He kind of looks like me. Actually, strangely looks like me
uh,
in
uh,
younger
uh,
pictures.
I don't. Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
no,
no, he really
no.
does. A little
Anyways,
bit. Same
well now.
I wouldn't say he looks like me, but same general features, right? Like a slightly big nose, big lips, same forehead, that kind of thing.
Well, now that we've established that I've had a crush on you most of my impressionable life, let's just let's just move on here.
It's understandable. It's okay, right?
I mean, you're a good-looking man for 47. All right, R.J. Baldinelli, Dan Fightstar, Chris Welch, Daniel Gallinea, Liam Kelly, Keegan Michael, Lizardo Velarde, Sam Woodward, Alex Berg, Tommy Foley, Jonathan Madison, Ron Harrow, and Matthew McCafferty. You get the. I know. I feel like we're kicking off a new season of the podcast with this episode. I don't know why. I just feel
Okay.
like
All
I
right.
feel
Just
like it's
throw it
fresh.
out there.
I mean, I was thinking before I logged on here to do this with you that we started this podcast in 2018 when Donald Trump was president, went through the Biden era, which we're still in, and now, God willing, we'll be doing this well into Donald Trump's, second presidency. It's just insane. And I say that to say that we've been around a while doing this thing.
Yeah. That's all
So
I have to say is yeah.
yeah, it's man. It's wild. So
It's yeah, you wouldn't think it's been that long, right? I do think that that's
it's
the weird thing about history. Life just goes on, and whatever circumstance you think that you're in, if this is unprecedented and all these kind of stuff, it's really not. Like everybody's been through it.
it's
I just think life just keeps moving. You just keep moving.
history is just it just repeats itself, right? There's no
Yep.
matter what you believe in politics, this has happened before. Life has happened before. Volcanoes, just because it's 50 degrees in Michigan on November 11th, it's happened before. Like history just repeats itself.
It just goes around.
All right, have some I don't know, some weird ass things to talk about that.
Okay,
Uh, for,
okay, okay,
for, First question is, do you believe when you look up at the sky, and let's say you see something shooting across the sky that you can't explain?
okay.
What's the first thing like? Say you're with somebody too. What would be the first thing you say to that person? Like, hey, that's an alien, or it's a shooting star. Where does your mind go right away? Like the first thing you think of when you see something in the sky that you can't explain?
Oh, a shooting star.
Well, according to a poll done by an independent research company, apparently over 80% of the people they polled out of the 10,000 immediately think it's some kind of alien.
Yeah, I mean
That's insane to me.
that's a lot higher than I would have thought. Like 80% of people think if they see something in the sky, it's an alien.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I don't know
It's
about where they get all this information from polls. Not to go back into the election necessarily, but like who are these people? I've never been polled for a single thing. Nobody has ever asked my opinion about a survey in any way. Have you?
not before this election, but I can, once again, not to get into politics, whatever side you're on. I think we can all agree that the amount of, and I live in a swing state, Michigan.
Oh yeah, you got hit.
I mean, every single hour you were getting a different text. Hey, like one that really struck me was it said, "Hey, John, you live at we see that you live at this address and you haven't voted yet. Make sure you get to the polls on election day." Like, what?
I
Um,
mean, I get it, right? That that's like a creepy thing, but it's also probably not really that hard to do. Like you can find somebody's address pretty easy if they're a property owner, and you can just cross reference it with voter rolls. Like it's weird and it's
yeah,
creepy, but it's like not really. You're not solving the riddle of the Sphinx or something like that, right? It's not that much.
yeah. I
Eighty
guess
percent of people.
yeah. I mean, listen. Once again, it's a research company that I'm not that familiar with, but their study they apparently asked over 10,000 people. So I mean, it's not a small sample size by any means.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the kind of thing where people are just going to troll and screw around. Like if you asked me that question, I would put that. The thing that I like to do is when telemarketers call me, I like to have a full conversation with them. And then when they ask, like, well, so do you want a loan for your business? I'm like, yeah, I do. The only thing is, I sell illegal drugs. Like after 10 minutes, they get pretty pissed off when you finally, like, yeah, I'm a drug dealer. Can you help me fund my business? And then they don't think it's nearly as funny as I do.
Yeah, I've done that unfortunately to some people who have come up to my door where I make them believe something, that maybe they're getting somewhere and then I just flip it over and just pour the ice on their head and they walk away.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah,
They
we're
come to
not
your
pro
door, man. I'm usually polite. Like, nah, dude, I'm just not interested. Good luck, though.
Yeah, I guess I should whatever say an addendum to that is I usually don't do that unless I try to tell them to go away. They're like, "Well, just one more minute of your time." No, go
I feel
away.
bad for the. Hey, man, everybody's got to have a job.
Let's see the RIP of the of the week because apparently a famous person now is dying every week, if not every other day. Goes out to Tony Todd, just a beloved actor. Um, Probably most notable for playing the. You
I've
have no
never heard of
idea.
him.
Jesus
Never heard of him.
Christ. Candyman, the horror franchise, Candyman.
Oh, yeah, I don't watch that kind of stuff. So that, like, yeah, no, I don't want anything to do with that scary movies, man.
Oh,
Especially like
well,
a scary, scary movie. Nope.
well,
Nope.
R.I.P. Dead, dead at 69. Um,
What
under
what
that,
age would you what age would you go like, oh, that person was young?
I
Now.
mean, like if they just try. Well, who was the kid? The kid. Who was the guy that just passed away from One Direction? Like he was in his mid
Oh, he
thirties.
was in his 30s. That's
Yeah,
really young to
yeah.
me.
That was pretty. And that's still. Do you know? You probably don't know. Like the circumstances. Like did he really just fall off his balcony? Was he
No,
high on something?
I think that there was drugs involved in some capacity.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
that's terrible. Well,
if somebody's in their 60s, are you like, are they that's young?
no. I mean, no, not really. I mean, I'd probably say, at 30s and 40s, I'm like, dang, that's really young. And then 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. By then, I feel like you've had a pretty good life, or you've lived a decent amount of years to have had a good life.
I would actually say anything under 75. I'm a little surprised and think like, "Oh, they went early."
Wow,
Yeah.
75. Okay.
75, I think. I think they went young if it's anything under 75.
Well, I mean, you look at some of these celebrities that are still kicking. Clint Eastwood, 90 something.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Making a movie too at 94. Well, you got to do something like keep living your life.
Um, would you have dinner, coffee, whatever, on a hillside retreat where they prompt, and I say this because there's apparently a restaurant in China that has a hillside retreat where you can have a meal, but you have to sign a waiver before having that meal in case the cliff gives out and you could fall to your death.
No.
But if you don't fall to your death, you have a fantastic view of a valley, of a lake. Um, I don't know of anyone that would do that, but apparently it's quite popular.
I mean, it can't be that unsafe. Like there's people working there and they go there every single day. It's probably just like going to a theme park. I mean, technically if you buy the ticket, you're signing the waiver. I wouldn't think it's that dangerous, but like no, man.
I just
Like
don't
you're
want to.
ultimately not going to open something that's going to fall to your death. That's not a good business plan.
I just don't. I think that's one of the ways that I don't want to go out is eating. I don't want to die while eating. That would just be sad to me.
Oh, but what if you weren't a big guy? Would you feel differently if you were like a thin guy?
No, I just don't think. I just don't think I would want to die while eating at all, no matter my body size.
Yeah, if you die while you're eating, it's going to be like real sudden and probably a little painful.
Or like, what if you're just having like the best steak and beer of your life, and then you have a heart attack? Like that's
It's
just
not
not
a
good.
bad way to go. I mean, honestly, like I think if you're
No,
having the best steak and beer of your life and then you die afterwards, it's not the worst.
I mean that's pretty bad though. I
There's much
mean,
worse. There's much worse ways to go, I think.
yeah. Obviously. Let's see. Do you care about the apparently the biggest movie of the year coming out this week or next week? Wicked.
No. I haven't seen a movie that I've honestly been interested in seeing since Dune. And that might
Man,
be the only one since Avengers Infinity War. I can't there I mean, I can't think of hardly any movies that have gotten me interested enough that I've been like, yeah, I can't wait to see that or wait for that to come out. Dune and
um,
Avengers Infinity War, and I don't think that there's any other movies I can think of that I've been like, I can't wait to see that movie.
I think that I agree with you. I feel like it it's just weird. Like I used to be into movies and I got into TV shows during the pandemic. Now I'm just kind of everything they come at you so fast now. There's so many of them that it's just hard to keep up on anything. So I no I don't get excited about any really.
Yeah, and they're all slightly the same. They're
Like
all slightly the same movie, right? It's like this time he's a mechanic. Now he's an electrician.
it's
This
it's the
time he's a plumber. Like they're all kind of the same. So,
so basically what you're saying is it's like the hallmark, but it's of all movies is what you're saying.
yeah, it's all the same movie. We're all watching the same movie at this point.
Well, let's end on a fantastic note here.
Okay, okay.
Um, I saw one of the most frightening things I've ever seen happen on an athletic field. And I didn't see it in person. I saw the replay, but the Canadian Football League, a quarterback, his name is Chad Kelly, broke his leg, stands up on it, realizes it's broken, or I don't really know why he stood up, to be honest with you, but he stands up, realizes it's broken, falls to the ground, and you can see him try to like basically hold his leg straight so
Oh
it doesn't fall.
God.
And nobody. Now I saw the clip. I didn't see the entire clip, like until trainers got out there. But not one person on the field, not even one of his teammates, are like, "Hey, dude, should I like maybe just hold your ankle or something?"
Should I like hold this together
Like,
for you?
it's just it. If you haven't seen the video, it's heartbreaking and terrible. He's gonna be okay. Well, I mean, he broke his leg. I don't know how great he's gonna be, but
Was it sticking
um,
out of the skin?
no, I mean, it didn't look like it, but it's definitely. I mean, he definitely probably broke his tibia fibula because this is flopping in the wind, and he's like holding his own leg together,
Oh my
trying to wait
God.
for the trainers to come, and I'm just sitting there watching this clip, thinking like, you can hear his teammates like, oh no, like they're yelling. It just made me think like, that just is terrible. Somebody help the guy. Come on, Canada. What are we doing?
Canada is such a hospitable place too. You think they would be have better manners, but I guess not. I don't really ever want to see people's legs get hurt. I can't watch that. I can watch an arm break, okay, but legs, not at all. Can't watch it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't really watch. I don't want to see anything break. I mean, legs are obviously the most visual because they're like the biggest usually. But just
It's always
anyways.
gruesome looking. It's always like, oh, that shouldn't bend that way.
Yeah.
Arms
So
or shoulders, it doesn't really look that bad, even in slow motion. But like legs, that looks always looks so terrifying. Like, oh God, that looks like it really, really, really hurt.
all right. And last question here. This is a holiday related question, but Christmas lights and Christmas tree, if they are up before Thanksgiving, should they be?
Yes, I've got no problem. I think that there is a movement that is happening in decorations right now. I think that people are putting up decorations earlier and earlier, and I'm completely okay with it. If I could have gotten away with it, I would have put my Christmas lights up November 1st.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
No problem with it whatsoever.
so I'm gonna say this, and I stand by this, is that I probably would have been pretty critical of that 5 years ago, but you know what? I'm fine with it now. You want to put them up in August? Put them up in August. Like, I don't care. If it makes you happy, it probably would make me happy walking by your house to see, your stuff out there. I'm now Christmas tree needs to be after Thanksgiving, but decorations I'm okay with before.
I'll agree with you that Christmas tree needs to wait until after Thanksgiving, but I could go Christmas lights as early as the first day in November. And if
Absolutely.
you don't do Halloween decorations and you want to skip straight to Christmas lights, if somebody threw their Christmas lights up in October, I wouldn't have that much of a problem with it.
Or you could be like my wife and just buy lights for our big pine tree out front that just change colors so we never have to take them down. And we can have 4th of July lights. We can have Halloween lights. We can have Thanksgiving colors, Christmas colors.
Is that just because she knew that you weren't going to take them down in an orderly fashion and we're going to complain about it? And so she just said, I'm going to put these up there and you're just going to have to deal with it.
Pretty much. That's
Okay.
pretty much
Yeah,
it.
that's the real story there. Laziness won't get you anywhere, John.
Let's move on, please.
Okay. You ready for our top five?
I am. It's I'm ready to get roasted, but yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so our top five is top five holiday movies. And this can be either Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's themed. All the holidays basically moving forward. What's your number five?
So two things before I start this list. One, this is just my personal preference list. So
Okay,
I
so
I
that
didn't
means it's going
go
to be a garbage list.
probably. I didn't go based upon any lists, any top 10 lists. Secondly, it was really hard for me to find holiday movies that I would put on a top 5 list that aren't Christmas related. So get ready. It's going to be a heavy list of Christmas related movies for me.
There's not as many Thanksgiving or New Year's Eve movies as there is Christmas.
Yeah,
But still.
by far. So in saying that, my number 5, and this is more of a because it's just there in my face and it's been there, but that's A Christmas Story.
I have that a little bit higher on the list, but I understand what you're going for. It's
It's, I mean,
more
listen,
tradition.
exactly, and they still have the 24 hours on TBS, and anyone who grew up blue collar in America in the 1990s, they looked you looked forward to that 24 hours of A Christmas Story. So that's why it's on my top 5. Not the greatest movie by any means, but it's tradition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just something that you did. I remember the memory of the movie more than I remember the movie. Like sitting and watching it, those kind of things. My number 5 is Klaus. A recent addition, but that's a really good Christmas movie. That should be rocketing up the ranks.
The one with Vince Vaughn.
No?
No,
It's
okay,
animated.
okay. I am unaware of it then, I guess.
Oh, it's a really good Christmas movie. It's I could see it becoming a top 10 overall movie for a lot of people.
When did it come out? Because if I'm
I
not
don't have any particulars about it. I don't know.
okay, well,
I don't know who's in it. I don't know the names of the people in it. I don't know any of the characters. I just know I like the movie.
all right. I mean, listen, that's it's your list, man. You do you.
Do your
I guess.
research.
I've never seen it.
No, do your research and then you would have.
My number 4. Once again, a tradition. I don't know how else to put it, but National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's my number 4.
That movie, I feel like, grows on you as you get older because you can identify with the different generations represented within it. Like at first you're the kid, then you're Clark Griswold, then you're the grandparents. And you can kind of resonate how each person feels in that movie.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think you and I are both in the Clark Griswold stage of our life, and that is 100% accurate. Everything that he feels in that movie is 100% real.
Yeah. It's weird how watching it now you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm turning into Clark Griswold."
except, except maybe for kidnapping, your boss at the end. I don't know
Well,
if I
yeah,
would
I'm not gonna
actually
do that part. But the
do
decorations,
that.
like I got on my wife, chastised her about our lack of Halloween decorations compared to the neighbors. Like this wasn't acceptable. It's the only time I've ever had to have like a sit down conversation with my wife about her wifing.
What wifing? Uh oh.
Her wifing.
How did that go?
It was taken well.
Okay.
They were valid critiques. They were valid criticisms, so it went over very well.
All right. What's your number
If
4?
You've Got Mail, I would put You've Got Mail higher on the holiday list if it was more specific to a holiday. But You've
Okay.
Got Mail is fantastic holiday movie.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, they go through all of it. It's
Oh,
a
I
great
mean,
movie.
okay. Don't. I mean, I don't think that one doesn't stand out to me, but I'm happy for you.
Because you don't have class or taste.
Well, you're
What's
gonna
your
like
next one? Die Hard?
you're gonna like my number 3. It's a twofer.
Okay.
Both Thanksgiving esque movies, but I have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Dutch as my number or as my dual number 3.
I don't know what Dutch is.
So Dutch is I don't know, late '90s, early '90s, late '80s. Stars Ed O'Neill, and essentially Ed O'Neill is picking up his girlfriend's like son from boarding school, and they have to drive across the country to get to Thanksgiving. And it's Ed O'Neill, like married with children. Ed O'Neill, he's hilarious,
Hmm.
and it's just a fun movie to watch. And obviously, you have to kind of like Ed O'Neill's humor, but he's great. So
My number 3 is A Christmas Story. Talked about it
okay,
already. I put it there solely based off tradition. I don't personally think it's that great of a movie.
No, but it's definitely a tradition. I'm glad you kind of re-brought it up because I wanted to say that I've actually been to the house, and you can rent the house out as an Airbnb, and I think we should do that sometime.
Is that the movie with the lamp though, right? It's got the lamp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
How much does it cost? I'm not paying more than like $100.
no, it's
More than
like
$100?
yeah, it's like $400 or $500, I think, for
Oh,
mileage.
no, I'm not doing that then. I'll walk past it.
Oh,
Would you? Okay, if you were ever going to go to like a location where a movie was filmed, is there a place that you'd be like, oh, I'd want to see where they filmed that?
I mean, yes, I mean, I'm gonna stutter thinking of movies right off the top of my head, but there is one place I want to go to, which is Hawaii, to see where they filmed Lost. That would be a, I've always wanted
Hmm.
to go and see where they filmed some scenes of that movie at, or our TV show at.
Okay. I don't have one. I mean, Lord of the Rings to see all that like beautiful scenery. That'd be pretty awesome. But it's not about the movie. Like I wouldn't want to see like, oh, that's where Aragorn kicked the helmet.
All right, so this is probably the only controversial one I have on my list, and I think it's because it doesn't get the respect it deserves. But my number two is the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Oh, really?
Once again, personal list.
Really?
It's it's a tradition type movie. It's just it's just a good hearted movie about Santa. Like I don't know how else, but Tim Allen's great. It's a great cast. It's just
Hmm.
it's really good.
I don't think I've ever seen that. My number two is Muppet Christmas Carol.
Uh,
You got a problem with the Muppets.
no, I mean I don't have a problem with the Muppets. I just it's fine. I don't know if it'd be number two.
It's better than Dutch. I think the world would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean I don't disagree with you on that, but and once again, it's personal preference. You can have it wherever you want on the list.
Yeah. Okay, what's your number one?
So surprisingly, to everyone who knows me, listens, or maybe has followed this podcast for the last few years, Die Hard is not on my top five list.
Not.
It is not.
Thought for sure you were going to put Die Hard as your number one.
I put it on the honorable mention. Maybe a couple years ago, if I think we did this list a few years back. I put it on there, but no. I stayed with a pretty conservative pick, and my number one is It's a Wonderful Life.
Such a boring movie. Such a boring movie.
But it's I
Not
think
even in color.
the they do have one in color, but
Oh, they
regardless,
do? I didn't know that.
I think the theme with my list is tradition, and I think the older I get, the more tradition matters. And It's a Wonderful Life is it just has a great message. Like I don't know what else to say about the movie other than it's fantastic.
I can understand that. It's definitely something about getting older and becoming a parent that like tradition starts to suddenly mean a lot. That like,
Yeah,
oh, this is what we do. This is the tradition that we go through.
yeah, and I mean it has one of the best, one of my favorite actors of all time in it, James Stewart.
I don't even know who that is. I've never seen A Wonderful Life. Every time I've seen it, it comes on. It's like It's a Wonderful Life, and then I turn on to the channel that it's on, and it's in black and white. And I'm like, nope,
Well, I think you should give it a chance. Give it a chance. You may like it.
no,
Watch it.
I
Okay.
don't want to, because then I've got to talk to people about it. This is my
What?
policy. You know my policy. If everybody's doing
I know.
something, I can't do it. I have to go the opposite direction so that I don't have to talk to people about it.
I'm gonna guess that your number one is Elf or Die Hard, something foolish like that.
No, dude, I've never seen Elf either.
Oh my
My
god.
number one is
Okay.
not just the greatest holiday movie. I think it is really one of the greatest movies ever made. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I
Might be
mean,
one of the greatest comedies ever made. And it has an emotional message that keeps you watching that movie again and again. I watch it every Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
I mean, obviously, I put it on my list. I love the movie. I would say I don't I don't think it's one of the greatest ever. Actually, I think it's hard to really discern that from a lot of comedies of that time that were just like that, just not a Thanksgiving, holiday theme. I mean,
I think that's the symptom of John Candy, that he is consistently underrated in his movies. He's underrated by the critics because he's not a critic darling. All the snobs don't like him, but John Candy's who doesn't, and the popular people, the people who doesn't like John Candy.
oh my god, I was just about to sound real dumb there for a second.
Did
I
you
was gonna
forget who
say
John Candy was?
no, I was gonna say one of the more versatile actors of his time because he did Cool Runnings.
I mean,
But
was he ever in any dramatic movies? He was always in comedies.
no, he was always I mean, that I know of. I mean, and they were good comedies, right? I mean, The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck,
Oh yeah,
obviously
yeah.
Plane Trains. He did that God, he was in Home Alone.
He was.
Yeah, there his band gives
Oh, that's
Ken's
right, the
mom.
polka band.
Yeah. Um
Spaceballs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's an actor that I would say that I missed. Wait, you have anything in your honorable mention?
And it all comes back around because he was the co-owner of the Toronto Argonauts, which is the Canadian football team of the quarterback I was talking about earlier that shredded his leg. So it all comes kind of full circle. Let's see. Honorable mention: Die Hard, Home Alone, Frosty, Rudolph. All of those classic cartoony type movies or movies. Gremlins. Love Gremlins. That was hard to keep off the list.
Yeah, that's up
Um,
there. That's a good movie.
and then Trading Places, which is another, you know,
Yeah, that's a good
uh,
one.
Eddie Murphy's hilarious, and that Dan Aykroyd's. I think I feel about Dan Aykroyd the way that you feel about John Candy. Like I love Dan Aykroyd, and I think he is so underrated, and will never truly get the credit he deserves in Hollywood.
It's a Canadian thing.
And then I have a few more, but I'll end with Scrooged, the Bill Murray version.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's pretty good.
And then
There's some Lego movies that I like. I think they were related to like Star Wars, like Lego Star Wars, something with Christmas. I don't remember what the names are. The only one that I had on there that you didn't was Soul Food. I like that movie and The Best Man Holiday. I like both of those movies.
I'm not sure what that is. I will say this: thinking
It's
on
because you
it,
don't have culture.
maybe thinking on it, it's. I mean, has there been a good Christmas or not or holiday movie made in the last decade?
Klaus.
Oh,
That would be the only one that I could say that you could make an argument that Klaus is probably the only one that's been good in the last decade.
I mean,
Any of those like Bad Santa, there's a difference between entertaining and I think good.
what's the one? Oh my God, what's the one where Ryan Reynolds is like he's really fat in the beginning and then he loses all the
I
weight?
don't know. I don't
It's,
know.
okay, yeah, I don't remember it either. But
Any of those like romantic comedies, like I don't really have any interest in them. They're all the same movie.
I'm gonna bring up one more that's on my honorable mention because you didn't bring it up. But Jingle All the Way with Arnold is also a good tradition movie.
Wait, is that the one where he? I get that confused with something else though.
It's Turbo Time. It's where
That's the
like
Turbo one. Okay, I get that confused
it's
with Kindergarten Cop. There's no
yeah,
reason to, but I get it
no.
confused with Kindergarten Cop. That's a solid
Sinbad's
movie.
Sinbad's in it. I think Phil Hartman right before Phil Hartman was shot and killed uh, in real life. I think that might have been one of his last acting credits.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Was
yeah.
Friday? Was Friday a Thanksgiving movie or a holiday movie? I
I don't
thought that
know.
it was. No, it take. I mean, it's based in L.A., so you can't really tell. It's not like it doesn't look.
Yeah,
It doesn't
no,
look like it is.
I don't know. Well, I hope that I mean we're in it, man. We are in the holiday season. So
I mentally check out right after Halloween. I'm done for the year.
Just with what? Everything?
I'm
Job,
just mentally done.
work?
Mentally done. I'm taking it. I would say that right after Halloween, my level of effort in all things decreases by 5% a week. Maybe 10, and then probably 10% after Christmas. I'm putting in 10% less effort every single week until the new year.
Well, I was talking to my wife, and for those of you that don't know, Nick, like he's an outdoorsy kind of guy, and I might get on skis for the first time ever this winter. Because why? My calf still isn't fully healed, so why not just break my pelvis?
Oh my God. Why are you gonna, what are you gonna do? Don't take a lesson. Just go out there. Man it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. I have some friends that were talking about just going out and, they'd put me on the kiddie hill or something, the beginner hill. So, but all
Oh
right, we'll see.
yeah. Well, you just make sure they film it. Dude,
You
you
kidding me? You're gonna be
tore.
there with me.
Where are you guys going?
I, I can't disclose that. I don't want the hordes of people showing
Oh,
up.
a
But
hill, like a hill in Michigan.
yeah, of
We're
course.
gonna go to a small hill.
Assuming we get snow, because it's been 60 degrees here
Oh
every
boy,
day,
here we
which is
go. God, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you mention your basement yet?
no, not yet, but it's coming along.
Okay. See, and that's the end of the show. As soon as this is a hard and fast rule, as soon as John brings up the weather and his basement while he's
I
wearing a sweater.
I wish I had like the effects where I could like create snow coming down on me right now on the
I'm glad
video
you don't.
screen.
I have
I,
things to do.
people to see.
I wonder if it actually stops this time. It seems to keep going the
Yeah,
last couple of times. Like, oh, it's kept going. Maybe it shouldn't keep going.
and I probably should give it a 30-second buffer here before.
Oh, I can just end it. Oh, there you go. I just have to click this button. End stream. Oh, that's all I had to do. I just had to hit that button.